She's on mute now.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Go ahead.
So it's 3:05. I'm going to call the CPA meeting to order and do a roll call vote. It looks like we have a quorum. Gary Ellis here. Debbie,
Here.
George,
Here.
Paul,
Here.
Christine,
Here.
Nate.
Here.
Go ahead and do your thing, Don.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. As a precautionary measure to reduce the spread of the coronavirus, all town buildings are closed to the public, and the April 21st, 2021 Community Preservation Committee meeting will be held by remote participation. My name is Dawn Marie Flett, CPA Program Coordinator, and I'll be serving as moderator for this virtual meeting. Although no in-person attendance will be permitted, every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access and participate in the proceedings. Persons who would like to view or listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by watching via this virtual meeting or dialing in to the number provided on the notice of meeting. We will also post a recording of this meeting on the Town of Yarmouth website as soon as we are able. Please be patient as we work to overcome any technological challenges with the virtual meeting. For all meetings, to reduce confusion during the meeting, all audience participants of the virtual meeting enter the meeting muted. Participants will be unmuted when called upon to speak by the chair or moderator. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself to avoid unnecessary background noise. All votes must be roll call votes. After a motion is made and there is a second, the chair will ask for a roll call vote. For public participation, comments or questions from the public will be taken at the discretion of the chair. Members of the public may speak by selecting the raise hand button and waiting for the chair to call on them to speak. If you're dialed in to the phone number provided, you can press *9 on your phone to indicate that you would like to comment. Members of the public recognized by the chair are asked to identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation for the public record, and then to provide their comment each time they speak. I'll now hand the meeting back to the chair.
Okay, I will go right into the agenda, and we're talking about our draft article and possible votes. I think the first one we have is the veterans housing, which has gone on for a while. So I'd be certainly interested to hear from George in how he feels about what Adam had given us.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Don, can you pull up the
Let's see.
relevant email so we can take a look at the docs?
Where did that one go? Now, hold on. No, I had it. Hold on.
So what we have received is we've received as requested, a 42-page document listing the detail behind requests for checks and payment outflows. So this is the 42-page document, and you can see it starts in 2020. So Don, let's go down. I had
Was
mentioned
it
going down to,
34?
excuse me.
34, 32?
Yeah, let's go beyond that. So what we'll pull up is the last invoice in 2021, which gives us a summary of all of the costs. And so we're looking for page 38.
38, let's see. Is that the one?
Yes, and let's scroll down to the continuation sheet, which is the next one, and
Let me see.
so one more. So
This one?
next one down that we can see full page.
This
41.
is the last one right here.
All right, can we spin it so we can?
You want this one up here?
Turn it.
Close your eyes. Okay, now how's that? And I'll zoom in a little bit.
No, we want the one that has column A, item numbers. So it should be,
General items, 89,291.
no, it should show, yes, 89, and the total should
Yep.
total
Yeah, let me zoom.
787, 494.
Is that better?
So that's the spreadsheet. It needs to be turned 90 degrees.
Okay, like that?
I'm not sure what, it's not showing on our screen.
No,
Oh, it's not? Hold
no.
on.
Well, it's showing them all joined together and not individually.
Oh,
Is-
right,
Is this a PDF?
yes.
Okay, so we're looking to be able to see
Hmm.
the individual sheet.
Well,
So this is, can you see that?
and you
Oh.
need the individual sheet for for what purpose?
So that everybody can see it.
Okay, so it just wasn't big enough on that screen share?
Something
Wasn't
happened.
turned.
It
Wasn't big
disappeared.
enough. Was it?
Okay, all right, it could turn on my screen, but
And it would have been helpful if we had this before the meeting. You know.
I think he only sent it to us
Friday.
2 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has it as a hard copy document, excuse me,
Yeah.
digitally. But it makes conversation easier if we're all looking at it together. Don, would it be easier for me to bring it up?
See if you can, because what I'm gonna do is save the individual page 38 as a PDF. Because it
Well,
came as one whole big 40-page document, like you said.
let me,
So if I save this, assuming I get the right page.
Is this the same information we got several months ago?
No,
I think. Yeah,
Okay.
my PDF printer isn't really reading it.
all right, that's okay. I think I may have it. So let me share screen
Okay,
and okay, can you
There we
see
go.
this?
that's it.
Yep,
yep,
Yep.
Okay, all right. So so what this shows to date is the total of the construction to date, and this is through February 11th. That's the date of this request for check package. So and so there were two other documents that we received, which was a copy of the Cape Cod 5 current balance of the line of credit. And then also a summary sheet that veterans put together showing, which we can look at in a few minutes, the total construction costs and and we've seen this before, it brings us down to the funding gap. So what we asked veterans to do was to, show us where the hard costs were and are. And so this, and Gary, you're in this business, so you can see all of the hard costs, general items, demo, footings, carpentry, for a total of mechanical equipment. So all of these costs, have been paid to date, totaling $787,000. No, I'm sorry, that's the scheduled value. If we go to column G, we can see that total completed and stored. That means it's, paid and in their file. So there have been $717,729 of hard construction costs. And so I think what the request, or what we have before us, is our commitment to pay up to $100,000 in hard construction cost, as represented in their balance of their line of credit. So their outstanding line of credit that they owe the bank to date is $142,513. So clearly the line of credit has not been ample to, cover all the costs, but there's been, grants and so forth. Christine?
But these items have not been performed yet?
Oh, no,
They
they
have.
have been.
Have been.
They have been performed.
I
So
don't
this
think we can't cover anything if it's already been done.
According to the coalition, you can, if it's a mortgage, if you can prove that it's hard costs, which is how we got to where we are today.
Okay, thank you.
right. And the
Whether we
line of
feel
credit,
comfortable with it, that's another story. Go ahead, George.
and Christine, and the line of credit it's a liability. It's a, it evens out, the ability to, cover costs and so forth, and can be dipped into quicker than trying to get a new loan. So, I think we have the pieces on the board now, namely, we have a pretty extensive 42-page document that lists all of the approved requests for checks and processed. We have a copy of their current bank statement showing their outstanding line of credit liability. And so we have the information that we had asked. Gary, any questions? Otherwise, I'll throw it back to Gary.
Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about this? Myself, I'm not totally comfortable with this, so.
Yeah, Gary, do we have that ruling from the coalition in writing?
Yes, I believe, Don, you have that from Stewart, right?
The same one that the town of Dennis has.
Same thing to both towns.
I'm just wondering about the precedent we'd be setting here.
No, I don't know. I'm gonna kind of throw this back to everybody else. It's just myself, I'm not totally comfortable with this. But because I know the coalition said we can do it, to me, it's like a reimbursement. If they had come to us beforehand and asked for this, I'd feel much better about it. And does that set a precedent? Are we going to have other people doing this? I don't know. I looked to everybody else's feeling on this. I know Stewart said we can do it. I believe, Don, we got a ruling from town council, but I asked if we could ask, was his concern that it's in another town or because of this? And as of yet, don't have an answer on that. So it's like, you know, if you don't mind me saying, it seems like we're afraid to ask him stuff. Why?
Gary,
Yep, go ahead.
just so I understand, so the line of credit they have out is right now for 142,000 and some odd, like $513, I think George said. Okay,
Right, George, right?
so that
Yep.
that line of credit was used to pay for the majority of these things that are listed on this sheet in front of us, correct?
So,
Um,
yes,
Yeah, okay, and so
but
the
George,
dilemma-
go ahead.
Yeah.
Hold on. So there were other funding sources.
Yeah.
So the line of credit, this would have to be checked to your question. Did everything roll through this line of credit? Clearly they would have had to, if they paid down the line of credit, then it would have to been replenished. And so I'm not sure what their accounting was, but so this is a vehicle, if you will, for veterans to have funded it. But the bank only allowed them to use up to 200,000. Then they would have to replenish it and pay it down. And then they could use what's left after, replenishing it. So,
okay, so this is an effort though, that, again, I hope I'm understanding. So if Yarmouth gives them $100,000 from our committee, it would be used to pay down that 142,000? Correct?
that's the
Yeah,
idea.
And
Yep.
so some folks are saying, yeah, that'd be okay. But are we just not sure if everything that we would be paying for is within our ability to do? I mean,
My point would be, how would we ever know? Because it's after the fact.
yeah,
I mean, in the past, what we do is, like, you'd have hard costs, you'd submit the bills to Don, and then we'd pay for those. So this is unique, but not only unique in that aspect, but also it's in another town.
Yeah.
So my concern is, if we have to go to town meeting and explain it the way we're doing it now, how is that going to
good
go?
luck. Yeah.
Right.
Gary, Karen may want to make a comment.
Okay.
Oh,
Better.
Here we go.
can you hear me?
Now
Yep.
we can.
Okay, so I'm having trouble.
You have an echo.
You still hear me?
Better.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can barely hear you all. So I'm gonna rejoin with my phone for audio. Just bear with me. I'm having nothing but difficulty here.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by two. You have joined the meeting as an attendee and will be muted throughout the meeting.
Don Marie, I've joined as an attendee. Can you promote me that way and I'll leave this meeting just so I don't know what to do.
I've got your 7014, right? Your phone number? And I can disable, remove, or rename. Can't promote from the phone.
Let me,
I'm trying to make you co-host. I don't know if that'll help.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
Anybody else have any comments? How does everybody else feel about this? Debbie?
Yeah, I could have, is there any particular part of this that you don't feel comfortable with? Or is it just general?
No, it would be the reimbursement aspect. To
Yeah.
me, it sounds like a duck. To me, this is reimbursement. I just don't feel comfortable with it. I don't want to be the one explaining this at town meeting.
Yes.
Because
No, I have to agree with you.
I mean, I love the project, believe me.
Yeah,
But I don't want to have this get turned down. Then that becomes the precedent for the next one.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we're trying to work with Dennis, but this is not going to be an easy sell at town meeting. So
No, it's not.
George, can I get your personal feelings on this?
Yeah, I'm risk adverse, by nature, if you will, from a financial standpoint. And I think what we're wrestling with is setting a precedent. And to Paul's points, however we decide, I think we'd all be comfortable if we're going to continue with this, that we need an ironclad legal, yay or nay on either issue, whether, this is not black and white, and, and if there's an overriding issue with doing it for another town. One of the things I put the share screen back up, and if you look at column H, balance to finish. So this says there's still $69,764 of work to be finished. And I know we've had discussions in the past that there was a lot of landscaping still to do. So, I just raised this as something for us to consider, that that if we decide that we don't want to go the line of credit reimbursement, then is there opportunity that the remaining balance to finish costs would fall into the appropriate buckets that allow us to do it?
I'd feel more comfortable with that myself.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. If you look in that column H2, if I'm reading it correct, there's still the contingency of 38,000, which when you're this far along, how can that be?
Right.
I don't like seeing that at all. And my own personal opinion from viewing the site, I think you could seek, donations to landscape it. And there's the landscaping on that site has got to be $10,000 at most. There's nothing left to landscape.
Right.
But your idea of going to the column H, if we could pick items out of that, I myself would feel more comfortable with that.
Right. Like the biggest item, I mean, thermal thermal protection.
That makes no sense to me at all.
What's that?
That should be insulation. That's already been done. It
Right.
has to.
Yep.
So that makes no sense to me. The
And-
contingency makes no sense to me.
Because in that column, you see, and it's small, I need my binoculars, but in some cases I see that things are, oh, there, that's better, thank you.
That's better.
Yeah, I lost my, yeah, that's good. I see that some things are, what would it be called, in the negative, in parentheses, and others are not. Does that mean that, for example, the first one, general items, is in arrears $4,167, and that the next one, demo site work, there's 11,000 remaining in that line item? Is that how to read that?
Um,
So that's the way I read it, Paul. So George,
so I think what it says is that that's the delta over the scheduled value. So you can see that they've column G, the total is 93,458. So that's the difference between, it's a negative, but it's C minus G is, so what it's saying is they've overspent, if you will.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then in the next one, George, just go through that one that's in the positive. So in column G, it's 40,078, right?
Yep.
This must be 78% of the line item.
Right. So that, and I
Remaining
think this
balance of
is,
11,000.
so if site work is that appears that it's the work to be done, whether it's walls or lawns or whatever. So is that the 11,000 to complete the the yard work, et cetera, if you will.
So then one more thing. So going down to the end where there's totals. Total in column G, $717,000. That's the total of all the line items. They've
Right.
expended 91% of it, leaving
right.
69,784. Is that correct?
So to Gary's point, there's a contingency in there. So let's for the sake of argument take that out. So let's call it 40, just so we have round numbers. So the contingency is, hey, if something comes out of the woodwork, we're saying that we may come back to you and ask for more money for this.
Yeah.
They'd have to do change orders and so
Yeah.
forth. So
Okay.
let's call that 40. Let's take it out. So that means there's a net of potential $30,000 in cost, the balance to finish. So contingency, remove that, and so that's what you'd be looking at, and a big portion of that is the thermal protection.
it makes no sense to me.
No,
90% of that has to be done.
Right. So I would, from a budgeting standpoint, I would, if they have a not to exceed number, then what it says is, we did better than we anticipated on the thermal protection. We don't need as much. So there's money now available that we can spend somewhere else.
And Joe, I don't mean to, my guess would be on that thermal protection. There's a good chance they got grants from Mass Save and other stuff,
Yep.
which is why that money wasn't used.
Yep.
So you shouldn't be coming to us for it. That's why I'm guessing that number is so far under. I believe they would have asked for grants from Energy Star, from all the energy grants that are available, and they got those.
Yep.
That's my guess.
Yeah, and I mean, that makes sense. So, but it just gets back to, again, the question of what's really outstanding.
Yeah, it's a matter of, as I look at it now, and again, maybe I'm just kind of working through this. We wouldn't know what we're paying for, right? Right now, it's not specific in terms of, to kind of speak to Gary's concern, which I would share about representing this to town meeting. What the heck are we paying for with $100,000 from Downey Yarmouth?
I'm not trying to be wise, but I would say if we're going to go to town meeting with this, then one of you decide you're going to present it, because it won't be me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, Karen, are you promoted now?
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, I am very sorry. I don't know, the laptop's not working, the work phone's not working, so this is my own phone. It's a lot of information, and there's a lot of numbers that don't match on here. So even just going to the continuation sheet that George walked you through in the beginning, and the scheduled value total, it looks like the total budget for the job is 787. The number that they have on the construction financing summary is 997, and the funding that's been received to date, back of the envelope math that I just did is $859,000. So there's a lot of questions. And I think you're right. Paul said, it's going to be hard to know what you've paid for unless you're looking to pay for something going forward. And so I think that I just wanted to circle back to why we wanted to have this on the agenda today. It's my understanding the selectmen are, the warrant is going to be going to print very soon. And if we didn't want to have this on the warrant, then you would want to make a vote to pull it. If you want to leave it on the warrant, contingent on some other set of conditions that you want to discuss, we can do that today. I think that without kind of a more of an audit kind of thing, it's hard to know who's paying for what and what are all the different funding sources. Don Marie did some work looking through, I think, Brewster, Harwich, Barnstable Affordable Housing Trust maybe put in some funding. And, none of that's itemized here. And I think those are all answers that you'd need to have at the town meeting. The last piece of information that I want to share with you is just in speaking with town council, we have the opinion from the CPA coalition, and they are all for spending funding across town lines, as is your committee. Town council is hesitant about this project in particular, because the affordable housing benefit will accrue to a different town. I talked to the Dennistown planner, and they are working on an affordable housing restriction. I would advocate that if you do want to fund this in any way, shape, or form, that we will need to have some kind of surety on the funding, either something like a mortgage or a loan, something that says the funding's coming back to Yarmouth if the property ceases to be, used for affordable housing down the line. I don't expect that it ever would, but I think those are the kind of cautious things that you can do.
Good point. So the more I thought, I kind of agree with you on most of what you said there. So I don't agree with not going across town lines. We tried to work on this, but this is not a good example of something we want to do. And I don't want to jeopardize some projects in the future that we might do with Dennis because we didn't do the right thing here.
No, I think that if you want to make some level of funding, and maybe it's even the 100 to finish the work, you could do that, or the up to 100, or
there's no way I've been to, there's no way it's 100,000 to finish that.
Right.
I couldn't sell that to anybody. I
have trouble with the this is a good faith effort on the documentation. I know that the accounting department, so one other thing, that when Don Marie, when we get a bill from someone looking for reimbursement, we do three things. We check that they have proof of purchase. So we check to see that the item was actually purchased, and we get the receipt, and or we might go out and look at something. So the new church is a good example. They do the HVAC system. We go out, they show us what's been done, we document, we take pictures, and then they give us the proof of purchase and proof of payment. And they give us the information from the bank itself that demonstrates that the funding, that the check's been cashed, if you will. So it's kind of one step further beyond the information that Civic has put together here. I'm sure they could put together the balance, but that's what we would require to pay the bill.
We've always done that in the past, and I go up to 100,000. You know, it's not 100,000. It's not even close to finish that, but I'd love to see us doing the way we've always done it in the past. If they have stuff they need to do to finish it, then they give us the bill. We go through the process we've always done. You know, and Jennifer and Mike were always great at that, going out, making sure we're there, taking pictures, getting the bills. I think we have to continue to do that. This makes me, I'm just not myself. I just don't feel comfortable with it.
So the question is too, do you want to, so the way, and I know Don Marie has the warrant queued, the way it looks right now, it includes the $100,000. So if you want to revise that, you need to, make a motion today, or you can do it from the floor, I suppose.
You want to see the language?
What's in the warrant now?
Gary, you're fading in and out.
I have a crappy computer. Don?
Yeah.
Can you hear? Can you just read what's in the way it's in the warrant now?
Okay. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. I lost it.
I have it handy, Don Marie.
Okay, thank you.
It's, it's bundled with the rest of the affordable housing projects. There's 4 of them. The Municipal Affordable Housing Trust, the Trust's Buy Down, Hands of Hope, and then the last is Cape and Island Veterans Outreach Center. And it's to fund new construction, transitional supportive veterans housing. And you had allocated, 40,000 plus or minus from the housing reserve, and 59, closer to 60,000 from the undesignated reserve.
To me, even if you go to town, it doesn't even read right, because anybody drives by, they're going to see the building there. I mean, this doesn't sit well. So, I mean, I will listen to everybody else, but I'd almost say up to maybe 20,000 to complete site work and landscaping, which would be totally reimbursable. I want to see the bill for what they did. Anybody else?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like Dennis must think they're taking us for a ride, but I don't know that, but this doesn't sit well at all. So
it
I
doesn't
have to
smell
agree
right.
with you. Yeah, I have to agree with you on this. $100,000. Either donate the time or volunteer.
They can seek landscapers, put their sign out front, and they'll landscape it for even less. But
that's right. That's right.
If the building wasn't built, it's another story. But drive by it, there's people in it. They have an occupancy permit. Christine?
Yeah, Gary, I want to go back to the precedent that we might be setting. I would think that most large affordable housing projects would have mortgages, and we'd be establishing a precedent support paying for things through the mortgage, perhaps, after something is completed. And I think historically, we have always wanted people to come to us with a project that's not going to start until after July 1st. You know, I'm very uncomfortable with the precedent. I'm very positive affordable housing, but I just don't, it doesn't follow our historical procedures. And I just like to know perhaps if Nate has a comment on this.
Nate, you're muted, but let's hear your
Yeah, I
comments.
agree with what all the comments. You know, I would hate to see us not involved with this, but since I've been on this committee, we have never paid for something that's already been done, and it's been kind of one of our, I don't know, I guess for lack of a better term, rules. It's just, you know, you can't come to us if something's already completed. So, you know, that
Okay.
alone, I agree. I don't really feel comfortable with it.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened here, but it's almost like the Yarmouth Community Preservation Fund was an afterthought on the part of Dennis, so maybe we can get some more money out of them. And they applied late. My suggestion would be to withdraw this article and tell them that they could reapply for funds in the future.
I think, can I just
One
let
other
Paul
thing,
know?
just one more
go
thing. If Dennis or any other of the towns on the Cape were faced with this kind of confusion regarding the payment of funds, I think they would take the same approach that we would in that instance.
Karen?
I wanted to just give a history reminder that the project did come forward earlier. They went to the Affordable Housing Trust, who thought it more appropriate. Nate, you can chime in. I think the trust thought it more appropriate to have a kind of cross-town expenditure happen at town meeting. I think it's good thinking. And then COVID hit. And so I think that they had, you know, a lot of this lined up in advance of COVID. They were able to move forward through COVID. I don't know when. I think Don Marie went to the grand opening in December or something.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it, and it's kind of just unfortunate. So
Did COVID prevent the people who were putting this all together from working on the project?
Oh, I don't think so. I'm saying that COVID hit and we didn't have town meetings and things didn't move, you know, our town meetings didn't coincide early enough, I think, Paul.
Okay.
So.
All right.
It's still going to be a hard sell at town meeting.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to go with the town meeting? Well, we had COVID. Everybody in the audience can go, well, I had it too.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? I guess at this point, you know, I agree with Paul, but I don't like to, I'm not comfortable with bailing on them completely, but it's got to be, in my opinion, a minimal amount, and it's got to be reimbursable for something that legitimately needs to be done.
Right. Yep.
There's no way it's 100,000.
Well, why don't you
You're
make a motion to that effect, Gary, in terms of what you just said, and make that our motion? Up to a certain amount of money, is that what you want, or?
A little while ago,
Right.
you said up to, say, $20,000 to
Yeah.
complete site work and landscaping?
Wait, specific.
Sorry, Gary, could you repeat what you just said?
What I just said?
No, Gary, Don Marie read kind of the up to $20,000 to complete site work and landscaping. And then Gary said something that got cut off.
But basically, I was the one who said that before. That's what Don's saying, just repeating
Okay.
what
I mean, should be completed after July 1st.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, it can be completed after, so the town meeting is May 22nd. It needs to occur after the town meeting vote.
I was the one who made it.
He only made one copy for Sue, so I
Yeah,
figured I'd
perfect.
organize the other people.
Yep, thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you.
Oh, I mean, the reason for doing that, anybody who drives by that tomorrow can see that it needs landscaping and site work.
Okay.
So if that's the case, if somebody wants to make that motion, we can talk about the motion and then vote on that.
Well, again, okay, I make a motion if I could cobble it together here that we establish, how would you say, it's establish funds up to $20,000 for site work at the facility.
Site work and landscaping, I guess.
Which would, be for landscaping and site work.
Yeah, I second that.
Well, we had the motion from Paul. Any discussion on the motion? If not, we have a second from Debbie. I can do a roll call on that motion. Christine?
Aye.
Gary? Aye. Debbie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
So I think Adam should know we've been over backwards to try and, we like the project. But, in the future, as it goes, I don't care if it's COVID or anything, we need to be funding stuff ahead of time. It's just putting us in a difficult position. It's going to be hard enough to even probably sell this at town meeting because it's in Dennis, but it's a good project. I'd like to see them keep going. I'd love to see them do a project in Yarmouth.
Yes.
But I think the letter to Adam should relate the difficult time we had with this. So we're trying to help out as best we can.
And I think we should tell them also that they can't do this until after a town meeting has approved it.
Yeah.
Do it now and then. You got all that done?
I got all that.
Good. All right. So I think we're all set with the veterans housing now, correct?
Yeah.
Don?
Yep, that's it. If it's
Higgins Crowell Road, land acquisition update, who's going to do that?
that'll be Karen.
Yep, so I just wanted to give you an update that there really is no update. So I had hoped for some kind of update, and the conversation of, is something going to happen before town meeting? I'm not certain. Unfortunately, with time, I wasn't able to connect with Jeff Colby towards the end of last week. I did reach out to the seller's agent. There is a closing, I think, scheduled tentatively for the middle of May. As we've discussed before, we'd be interested in engaging in a conversation with a new buyer, a new owner, if there is one, to see if there's a deal to be had with the town. At this point, I was hoping that we could take action, ask you to take action, but without Jeff and or the Board of Selectmen, who I think are listed as the applicants, I hate to take action without them. So I think it's safest to leave it on the warrant for now. I don't know if Christine wants to weigh in.
I just think we need to have more ducks in the row before we move and do anything on this property.
So, but we still keep it open. We don't want to look like we dropped the ball. Stays open on the warrant. And I really doubt, obviously, anything's going to happen before town meeting. Okay, so next I'm going to go on to Yankee Village, the update. Karen.
So Yankee Village, that's actually the good news. So working together with Bob Lawton, and town council. They have found a way where we don't need an article for this item for the park grant return. That was the first article to be included on the warrant to return the funds back to the buckets. What we will need to do is get a CPA vote at a later date when we have a good figure for you. We have had a delay with our Crawford Land Management contractor on that, just in terms of getting us the plan and the quote, which is what we'll use to build the budget. But once we have that information, we'll get a CPA vote, and CPA can make a request to the Board of Selectmen. And the Board of Selectmen can actually make a vote to return the funds to where they need be.
Karen, what's the latest on the quote?
The latest on the quote, we just heard back from Crawford Land Management. They're busy working. It just sounds like they haven't gotten it, together, Christine. I'm hoping again for this week. We'll be in touch with you. We know the next step is Kelly Grant, our conservation agent, will review kind of the plan, and then the plan is to get with the Open Space Committee and to move forward. And we may have another opportunity with the Open Space Committee to just engage the public a little bit regarding the plan for the site.
Okay, thank you.
Good. I totally think you should go back to Open Space Committee before you come back to us for a vote. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do we have? The annual public hearing planning update. Dawn?
Okay, that is going to be on May 12th, as long as everyone can still be there. Debbie, are you going to be able to make it May 12th?
I don't even have it marked down. To what?
May 12th. It's going to obviously be on Zoom again, the annual public hearing.
Yeah. Is that on a Wednesday?
Yeah, the regular time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gary and
I'll
I
be
had
there.
talked, and considering, it was challenging to get people to attend the public meetings where you had actual food and beverage and presentations. I don't know how much interest there's going to be in attending another Zoom meeting by the general public, but so it didn't seem necessary to plan something for an evening or outside
No.
the regular parameters of the CPC. So May 12th, the only ones I haven't got confirmed then are Liz Hartsgrove and Marianne, who had hoped to be here today, by the way, but she couldn't because of technological problems. Haha. So it's not just us, Karen, Gary. So I will submit the legal notice to the paper this week, and it'll run for 2 weeks in the Register. So that would be the 29th and the 6th on Thursdays. And then the public hearing will be on the 12th. And working on the community preservation plan and application for next year. So that'll be available also for comment from all the representative committees and other interested parties.
I know, just in the plan, I know we've talked about it before and a couple of times about making sure that anybody make out an application gets all their relevant approvals before they get to us. And, I volunteered my time to help anybody with that. So.
Yeah, that's being written in.
I think that should be written into the plan. Anybody else wants to do it, but I'd be glad to talk with anybody, say, these are the approvals that we think you're going to need before you come before us with the application.
Yeah, and I think you wanted also that the chart to be part of the plan too,
Yes,
right?
I do want the chart. The chart's important, and it's kind of fell by the wayside, and I always referred to it in the past, but I think it's important.
So those are definitely being worked in. And Yeah, so still, are you still interested in having a possible demonstration of the digitization and the Digital Commonwealth project that the HSOI worked on? They just wrapped up their grant this year.
Somebody else wants to do it and not me.
Does anybody want to see maybe Bob Kelly or somebody show us how to access Digital Commonwealth and use that as a demonstration of the grant, success of a grant?
Or if you want to have
Hmm.
No? Okay.
Sounds exciting, but you know.
No problem. Well, you know, frankly, again, Gary had a valid point that I agree with, is it's hard to get people interested in Zooming much more.
Mm.
Mhm.
Don, you're gonna
And-
send out the
and-
script? You're gonna send out the script for the annual meeting to everybody?
Yes, yep, we'll work on the script and some slides. Again, like Gary and I said, you know, this annual public hearing should not be more than an hour at the outside, right?
This is just to meet our legal obligation to do it. I don't consider this going to be a big meeting. So anybody who advocates for more Zoom meetings, let today's meeting be a prime example. Why not?
Amen.
Don't worry about it, Karen. It's okay.
I don't know if it had to do with the new passwords that they've loaded into some of the laptops.
Oh, I wonder. I don't know. I'm on the work laptop that I've used for every other meeting and it always works. And
Mhm.
I have no volume and I don't know.
But when
So
you're in the
again,
room,
my apologies. I feel bad.
when you're in the room, Karen, we have no problem with volume.
Don't worry.
Thank
Right.
you.
Okay.
Okay, so next, I guess we have annual town meeting. I think everybody's aware of that.
And I
do
haven't
we?
heard anything about location. Have you, Karen? Indoors,
I
outdoors?
did. I think I don't know if they made an announcement last night. I was checking out the town's Facebook. I think it's 9 o'clock outdoors at Mattakey's on
Okay.
the 22nd. That way, I think, you know, if there's inclement weather or I don't know what, we could always move indoors if we needed to.
Okay, great.
Any discussion about when, like, town hall is gonna be open and all that other kind of stuff?
I don't know, Paul, I'm on vacation this week.
Well, you look like
So
you're on vacation. Yeah.
doesn't it look like?
Yeah, nice road trip.
Yeah, nice road. No, you know what I've decided for this vacation is that I do need to go somewhere.
Mhm.
But my understanding is there was some mention of town hall reopening at the select board's meeting last night, but I don't know any details. We will keep you all informed.
Tell you right now, as I sit here, there's a line at the front door.
They're doing the beach and dump stickers. You can come right to town hall and they've set up
Stay
a
outside.
good system outside there.
Nobody knows you can go to Chamber of Commerce and walk right in and get it.
Yes.
Is there no line there?
No line.
No. Nope.
Just walk in and get it.
That's it.
Pay for
What I
it
did.
first.
Okay, so
I know
I
the
think
senior citizen center is not opening.
No, and I
No.
don't believe the library's open either. So,
Well, Yarmouthport Library is open, limited
That's it.
hours. Yeah,
Yep.
The
Yeah.
library is open.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of private things are opening, so I would think that the town's gonna feel a little pressure to,
I imagine.
especially because
They
people
are.
are getting vaccinated and the whole deal, wearing masks, you know?
But
hear
I
more
don't think until
complaints
we're out
about
of the red.
Yeah,
We-
we're still in the red.
we don't want to go into, you know why we're in the red? Because they go by the percentage of positive tests relative to the number of residents. So the people who are testing positive aren't residents. Why don't they put that out there? It's everybody is in their summer houses. They aren't residents here, but they are testing positive, and that's how they come up with that. That's why we're in the red.
I don't, the Board of Health meets on Monday. So they may be having additional conversation as well.
They should, you don't want my comment. They should kind of keep quiet because the Chamber of Commerce is really starting to dislike them. They're working from the other perspective, you know.
Yeah, open things up.
All right. So lastly, we have staff updates.
No. Can you vote on the minutes, please?
Okay, we'll go to the minutes. I'm looking forward to it. So it's from 3/3/21. Anybody read those? Everybody read those? Motion
Make a motion.
Yep.
Accept.
to accept. Second
Seconded.
by George. All in favor, Christine,
Aye.
Gary, aye. Debbie,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Nate.
Aye.
Next, we have the minutes from 3/10/21. Same thing. I can hear a motion.
I can make a motion on that.
Hey, Deb. Motion to accept the minutes as written by Debbie, second.
Aye. George.
George, second. All in favor, Christine? Aye.
Aye.
Gary? Aye. Debbie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Nate?
Aye.
Look for anything else, Don?
No, I don't have any other updates.
Beautiful.
Gary, we'll coordinate with you on the letter for Civic.
Yep. Okay, if not, I'm gonna hear our favorite motion from somebody.
Before you
Motion
do
to
that,
adjourn.
Oh,
Yeah,
Paul
Paul.
has a comment.
could I just confirm? So the next meeting date will be on, I wrote it
The
down.
public, right?
I'm sorry,
I think it's the public, right, Don?
The May
May
12th.
12th.
May 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So now I motion to adjourn.
And
Second,
boy, do I second it.
Boy, that was quick. Motion by George, seconded by Debbie. All in favor, Christine?
Aye.
Gary? Aye. Debbie?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Paul?
aye.
Nate?
Aye.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Thanks,
Appreciate
Karen.
your time.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Don
All right,
Marie.
take care all.
Karen?
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.